How does William Paterson University stands out when it comes to student diversity?
On the university campus, both main campus and online, we have over 50 different countries represented in our student body. Nearly 250 or so international students right now, representing global diversity.
How does the university make sure that the students are welcomed and they're set up for success?
It's all about making sure there's clarity on information that we have about the university, that students have a correct expectation about what they're going to experience when they arrive to campus, both inside and outside of the classroom. Cultural adjustment that's going to happen, to hearing US English all the time and having to speak and write in that type of English.
There are different food preferences as well, I'm sure, in the university. How does William Paterson University make sure that the campus is more inclusive on those terms?
So we just opened a new dining hall 2 years ago, Wayne Dining, which has a variety of different food stations around the cafeteria, and the students love it. In fact, we have to kick them out at 10 o'clock when we close because they love hanging out there so much. But they always tell us that nothing's better than mom's cooking.
What measures is the William Paterson University taking to ensure that the students are safe and secure in the environment?
As I mentioned, we have a 407-acre campus, so it's big, but students can access New York City. They can actually get on a bus on our campus and get into New York City in about 35 or 40 minutes, do their internship or whatever they want to do, and then come back to campus. The university does have its own police force. If students feel they want to get an escort from one class to another at night, they can call and we can give them an escort. We also have an app called the Rave Alert, so if something happens on campus, we can push communications.
Hands-on learning is also a crucial thing here. I want to ask what kind of practical training William Paterson University offers.
Figure out how to do a LinkedIn page, how to create a resume. We encourage them to go to job fairs, to even if they're not ready, at least give their resume to someone and get used to answering some questions early on in the process. Our job placement rate is about 4% higher than the national average in the US, and our starting salaries are about $4,000 higher than the average salaries in the US. So we're totally in on hands-on learning.
Education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. These words by Nelson Mandela truly captures the essence of what educational institutions today stand for. But today, the global education scene is shifting, and for students, particularly from Indian subcontinent, looking for studies in the US and beyond, things are not very clear. To help us with it all and to better understand with all the immigration policies and the speculations around H-1B visa changes, to help us with all these confusions and all these questions, today we have amongst us Dr. Richard and Dr. George. Welcome to ET Now.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
All right, so before we dive into all the details and all the questions, please tell us something about William Paterson University. How is it and how has been the journey so far?
So William Paterson was founded in 1855 as predominantly a school that trained teachers to work in elementary and secondary schools in the city of Paterson. And at the time, a lot of immigrants were coming to the city of Paterson to work in the silk mills. So the teachers that we were training were actually educating the students of immigrants at the time. As the university grew, we added programs like nursing and business education, and that required a move from Paterson to our 407-acre campus in Wayne, New Jersey. And now we have about 10,000 students on our main campus and on WP Online. We were recently designated as a research college and university in the Carnegie classifications, which is a powerful example of how faculty-student research gives them real-life experience to land that all-important job once they graduate. So we're really thrilled with that new designation. And what's really great is one of the largest immigrant populations in New Jersey is Indian Americans. And so our students that come to us from India find not only a great place to learn and work and live, but outside of the campus, they find a very supportive community.
That's interesting to hear. Before we get more into it, you have traveled all the way to India. Can you describe in one word how has the whole experience been so far for both of you? In one word.
Amazing. We'll just say amazing.
That's a safe word.
Yes. Fantastic.
All right. When you talk about India, diversity is one thing, and diversity is also a crucial factor when it comes to universities. So how does William Paterson University stands out when it comes to student diversity?
Sure. Well, on the university campus, both main campus and online, we have over 50 different countries represented in our student body. So we have nearly 250 or so international students right now, representing global diversity. But as is common in the United States, we have a wealth of ethnicities just in our local domestic population as well. One of the things that's really attractive about that is being situated where we are in Wayne, New Jersey. We have access to, whether it's going into downtown New York City, into Manhattan, or just in our region, a lot of different ethnic grocery stores and restaurants, and all the tastes and flavors from home are available to our international students on campus.
All right, that's really fascinating to actually hear that. We are talking about international students here, and if we talk about Indian students in particular, how does the university make sure that the students are welcomed, they are supported, and they're set up for success?
Sure. Well, that process begins even in conversations like we're having today. It's all about making sure there's clarity on the information that we have about the university, that students have a correct expectation about what they're going to experience when they arrive to campus, both inside and outside of the classroom. It's also part of all of our pre-departure activities that we do to help with students with the cultural adjustment that's going to happen, to hearing U.S. English all the time and having to speak and write in that type of English. We want students to be prepared for that, and we work with them before they even step foot on campus. That way, when they arrive, the challenges they're facing are what we want them to be, what's happening in the classroom, not just a cultural or language barrier.
All right. Dr. George talked about all the cultural differences and everything on that note. Dr. Richard, when we talk about different cultures, there are different food preferences as well, I'm sure, in the university. How does William Paterson University make sure that the campus is more inclusive on those terms?
So we just opened a new dining hall 2 years ago, Wayne Dining, which has a variety of different food stations around the cafeteria, and the students love it. In fact, we have to kick them out at 10 o'clock when we close because they love hanging out there so much. But also the area in general has one of the most wide variety of international foods and food stores in New Jersey. So our students always report that they love going out and doing their own shopping and getting their spices and the foods that remind them of home. But they always tell us that nothing's better than mom's cooking. So we can't replicate that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Nothing's better than mom cooking.
Right.
Completely agree to that. Now, safety concern is also a big concern for students as well as for parents as well. Now, what measures is the William Paterson University taking to ensure that the students are safe and secure in the environment?
Sure. So we have as I mentioned, we have a 407-acre campus, so it's big. But it's really in suburban New Jersey, so it's very quiet, it's very safe, but students can access New York City, as George mentioned earlier. They can actually get on a bus on our campus and get into New York City in about 35 or 40 minutes, do their internship or whatever they want to do, and then come back to campus. The university does have its own police force, and if students feel they want to get an escort from one class to another at night, they can call and we can give them an escort. We also have an app called the Rave Alert, so if something happens on campus, we can push communications to the students. We also have an Office of Parent and Family Relations, so we push communications out to parents who sign up through the portal. We find that's very beneficial in terms of keeping parents in the loop in terms of what's going on campus. Here's what your students should be doing at this time. Here's when grades are posted, all of those critical questions that parents want to know. But by and large, we have a very safe campus.
All right, the app part was very interesting. Now let's talk about the heart of your institution, the faculty. Can you share insights about your faculty, their strengths, and how is the faculty culture in the William Paterson University?
Well, sure. One thing that's a common type of question, we have a 17-to-1 student-faculty ratio. So 50% of our classes on campus have 20 students or less. So just to kind of understand, there are real opportunities for our students to engage with their faculty members. And in fact, for an institution like William Paterson, I really stress the importance for a student to get to know their faculty members, get to know their faculty mentors, their academic advisors. Those relationships play a critical role in that career outcome that our students are so focused on. But beyond that, a prospective student looking to William Paterson can research and understand our faculty and what their research areas are. But we also have 16 or 17 specialized accreditations. Our computer science is ABET accredited. In our College of Business, Coxsackie College of Business, we are AACSB accredited. All of those are testaments to the skill and value our faculty bring to the classroom.
All right. We are talking about learning, we are talking about faculty. So hands-on learning is also a crucial thing here. I want to ask what kind of practical training William Paterson University offers?
So from the time the student steps foot on our campus, they have what we call a career development professional that helps them begin to think about their career from day one. So it's not just you're graduating, it's time to think about a job. We try to plan that all going along. So we have them figure out how to do a LinkedIn page, how to create a resume. We encourage them to go to job fairs to, even if they're not ready, at least give their resume to someone and get used to answering some questions early on in the process. So we think that we do a really good job in this space. We also have the Pesci Family Mentoring Institute, which pairs students in a particular major with a professional in the field in their junior and senior year. And that seems to be doing really great work. 98% of the students who are in that program report having a job 6 months upon graduation. Our job placement rate is about 4% higher than the national average in the US, and our starting salaries are about $4,000 higher than the average salaries in the US. So we think that our hands-on learning, and we also just passed a new university requirement that every student has to have a experiential learning opportunity in order to get their undergraduate degree. So we're totally in on hands-on learning.
The numbers you talked about are definitely great.
Yeah.
If we talk about students from the Indian subcontinent, they're often drawn towards STEM and other graduate courses. Now, what does WPU offer in this course?
Sure. So, we offer a portfolio of 30 different STEM designated degrees, 24 undergraduate degrees, 6 master's degrees. I know President Heldauer may be able to rattle off the full list of 6 faster than me, but it certainly includes a new STEM designated master's in computer science, as well as an MBA in applied business analytics. Do you recall the remaining degrees?
Sure. It's a MS in biotechnology, applied mathematics, exercise physiology, computer science, materials chemistry, and applied business analytics. And these are all recognized by the Homeland Security, which then qualifies students for the 24-month OPT opportunity post-graduation.
That's interesting. When we are talking about international students, we should also take a look at finances, because people are traveling all the way from a different country to a new country. Now, finances can be a major concern for both students and for both families, right? What is WPU's fee structure and what is the payment plan here, if you could help us understand it better?
Sure. So there is some variance between an undergraduate and a graduate level degree, but an international student can pursue one of those degrees for under $20,000 a year. All of our international students are eligible for what we call the Pioneer Award. This is a discount of about 80% off of the cost of out-of-state tuition. So what this means is that our international students have access to a near in-state tuition, very affordable rate for studying in New Jersey. But we also make all of our merit-based awards are available to international students just as much as they are to our local US students. We also offer payment plans and we'll work with families to understand what their needs are so that we can set up an arrangement to make a William Paterson degree a possibility for them.
All right, that's interesting. Now, apart from academics, let's take a shift. I know Dr. Richard here has a PhD in theatre. That's very interesting. So apart from academics, what other extracurricular activities, sports, or any other thing does WPU offer?
So we do have 13 intercollegiate athletic teams, so men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, women's softball, men's baseball. So there's a variety of opportunities for students to sort of engage in athletics. We also have a very active intramural athletic program on campus. So if you don't want to be in a team, but you still want to play, you can. It's not unusual for us to see a pickup game of cricket in the practice field on the weekends of students who are playing that. So there's a lot in the athletic space, but we also have a lot of clubs and organizations either related to your discipline or not related to your discipline for just fun. And we find that a lot of our international students enjoying engaging in those activities on campus as well. There's never want for anything to do on our campus, but we always want to stress that their first responsibility is to go to class and get good grades.
All
Sometimes that gets a little confused, but we try to keep them on track.
That sounds really fun. Now, placements are also one of the deciding factors for students, right? When they choose a university, it's one of the core factors that they look upon. How does WPU help students to transition from education to employment?
Sure. Well, one of the things, all of our different colleges, as well as the university, we have an advisory board. So we have experts in the field helping give guidance to our department chairs and our deans to understand what are the expectations in the workforce of a graduate from William Paterson, so that we're making sure that we're keeping our curriculum and our experiences current so that WP alum are attractive to the workforce. As we worked to start recruiting and creating relationships with more international students, I spoke with the career services teams, both the ones embedded in the colleges as well as our larger career services office. And I was thrilled to understand and realize all of the resources they have in place to help international students just as much as they do our local students. It's also worthwhile to mention that our location in North Jersey, we have proximity to New York City, and there's a lot happening there. But North Jersey has a whole community of Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies that the university is investing in relationships there to make it easier for our students to get those internships and then ultimately a job. But it must be stated that students have to play an active part. They have to have agency in this process. So while we invest heavily in making those opportunities available to them, they still have to be an active part of the process so that they land. And that's part of what makes them attractive to those employers.
Absolutely. Real world learning is equally important. About real world learning, if you talk about that, how does William Paterson University ensures that the students are getting enough exposure to that, and also how does WPU approaches towards working with industry leaders as well in that sense?
So I think a couple things. Not only do we use our advisory boards, but mentors in the Pesce Family Mentoring Institute to help us keep our curriculum current. We also do focus groups on what is coming down the pike in certain areas of employment. So we had a group that said we needed to develop a certificate in human resources management. We developed that. It's very, very well subscribed. But again, I just want to say that we're intentional about day one. So it's not uncommon for our students in their sophomore year, their second year, to do a job shadowing opportunity. Their junior year, they might do an unpaid internship, and then their senior year, they may do a paid internship. So we're really trying to make sure that they have these experiences over the 4 years of their career at William Paterson.
All right, that's interesting. Also, while choosing a university, scholarships are also a crucial factor to look upon. Does WPU offer any special scholarships in any sense?
Well, sure. So again, I talked earlier about the Pioneer Award. So this is an award that all international students are going to be eligible for, depending on whether it's a bachelor's, master's degree that they're pursuing. And the major can shift an amount a bit, but it's going to be between $6,000 and $8,000 automatically as a scholarship as an international student, because we want to welcome you to William Paterson, and we're really investing in that community. Beyond that, international students are eligible for the full range of merit-based scholarships that any student applying to William Paterson can qualify for.
All right. Now, if we talk about universities, they also work somewhere to spread social messages. What are some social or public initiatives that the university is involved in?
So we're very committed to social justice. We believe that the baccalaureate degree is still the greatest economic and social mobility tool that the world has to offer. And a lot of our programs sort of focus on that. The predominant demographic of our students are low and middle income students. A lot of them are first generation college graduates. And so we do a really great job with that population in terms of moving them forward in order to get that all important degree that is life changing, not just for them, but for their families. And when they come back to their communities, it really makes an impact in the communities that they go back to live in.
All right. My one last question to you guys. Internships are often a stepping stone for the students, right? How does the university help students gain hands-on industry experience?
Well, one of the first things we talked about was William Paterson being founded in 1855. I say that because we are now in 2025, and William Paterson defines itself as being a powerhouse of progress. I really like that language, the way we describe ourselves, because we are helping to power not just New Jersey, but our broader community and in the world in so many ways. And the way we do that is through what's happening in the classroom and then these internships. The relationships we forge with industry in the area are essential for that to happen. And we work with those students so that they're understanding the process from day one. They can attend job fairs, and when we visit or when we welcome expert guests to speak on campus, they participate in that. But then there's a process they move through so that they can have an unpaid experience, ultimately a paid experience. And I don't remember if you may remember the exact quote, but the majority of our students who have that internship as a senior, many of them are ultimately hired by that employer.
Yeah, 40%.
40%.
Yeah, 40% are hired. So we feel really great about that in terms of getting them employed before they actually graduate, especially nursing. Nursing students usually get offers before they even graduate. So we're and as we said, we've really made it a requirement of an undergraduate degree. So we're firmly committed to those opportunities.
All right, Dr. Richard, Dr. George, thank you so much for being with us here today and helping us understand the opportunities and challenges with international students. It's pretty clear that universities and students really need to be updated and adaptable with the change in time. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have both of you with us today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you.